Jurassic World Rebirth was released on July 2nd, 2025, and it is the 7th film and 6th sequel in the Jurassic Park saga, and marks the 4th installment since Jurassic World relaunch began in 2015. So let's dig into the dino DNA of this blockbuster to unearth some hidden gems you might have missed. Directed by Gareth Edwards, famous for Rogue One and Godzilla, Rebirth picks up 3 years after Dominion, but crucially features a brand new cast, no returning human characters from the previous entries. Scripted by David Cope, who co-wrote the original Jurassic Park, with Steven Spielberg, the original director, offering some creative input. The film unfolds around a desperate mission to gather genetic samples from the 3 largest creatures on Earth, land, sea, and air, at a former island research facility. A stranded family is rescued, and chaos ensues. Edwards promised to go back to what he'd loved about the original, aiming for more wonder, awe, and a touch of Spielberg-like magic. Now, filming took place in diverse locations, including Thailand, and is shot with a striking widescreen ratio, echoing Fallen Kingdom. With a reported $265 million budget, it was one of the priciest installments yet. Alexander Desplat, celebrated the composer known for the Grand Budapest Hotel, scored the film, carrying the legacy of John Williams' iconic themes forward. The Dilophosaurus makes its first CGI return since 1993, 32 years later. A raft scene with the T-Rex, originally cut from the novel's adaptation, was resurrected in the sequel, completing a long, unrealized vision from the source. Fans of the original will spot a modern homage. The mutons chase a family through a gas station convenience store, eerily reminiscent of the velociraptors hunting in the visitor center kitchen in the original Jurassic Park. The film leans heavily on CGI, breaking with tradition by hardly using animatronics, making it unique in the franchise. So far the critics were mixed. Some praised the cinematography and the river scenes as a step up from past entries, while others found the themes reused and the plot predictable. Financially, Rebirth stomped into theaters with a massive opening of $141 million in the US over 5 days and $312 million globally. Now let's talk about what I thought of this film. If there's one shining example of Hollywood taking a brilliant idea and milking it until it's just a sad, dry carcass, it's Jurassic Park. The original was absolute modern cinema perfection, thrilling, smart, full of characters who made logical choices, backed by cutting-edge visuals, and a story that actually made you think about science, morality, and nature fighting back. It was one of those movies that you can never forget seeing, and probably still the last time that dinosaurs truly felt epic. Which is why I'd highly recommend going and watching the original rather than Jurassic World Extinction, as it should have been called. Whereas the original is a masterpiece, this is the antithesis of that. Firstly, the plot is paper-thin, nonsensical, slow to start, and ends with the kind of limp climax that makes you wonder if your popcorn was the highlight of the evening. We've got a bloated cast of personality-free characters who look like they're wondering why they even showed up. Instead of suspense, danger, or actual stakes, it's just a parade of goofy, bloodless action scenes that accomplish absolutely nothing. So here's the story, and I use that word generously. Scarlett Johansson plays the tough mercenary lady, recruited by a shady corporate guy to sneak into the monster dinosaur island and steal the dinosaur DNA for a new heart disease drug. Because apparently dinosaurs have perfect hearts. To help, they bring along a man of science, an expert on dinosaurs who actually never has seen one. He's played earnestly here by Jonathan Bailey. Then of course they hire the generic sidekick guy, played by a wasted Mahershala Ali, to ferry them around on a boat. But here's the best part of the film. They now run into the diverse modern family, with the father taking out his 2 daughters and the older daughter's boyfriend on a sailboat across the whole Atlantic Ocean, when mysteriously they're attacked by a water dinosaur. The questions are, how did they get into the quarantine zone? And why did the dad bring his kids here in the first place? But this film doesn't want you to think about that. After rescuing them, the team's boat crashes on the rocks. The family jumps overboard, and poof, they are separated for most of the film. Still, our mercenary hero sticks to the plan, grab the DNA and wait for the helicopter to rescue them in 24 hours. The island, by the way, is supposedly full of genetic freak dinosaurs, too dangerous for the park, except most of them look perfectly normal. There is just absolutely no logic when it comes to the writing in this film. So shock horror, of course, they get the DNA, reunite with the family at a research base that is magically still functional after 20 years, and surprise, the big dinosaur shows up, kills the generic shady guy, played here of course by Rupert Friend. No one saw that coming. Not to mention of course the supporting actors, played by no-names that of course tragically die early on the film. The biggest shock being the early death of Ed Skrein. Remember him of course in Game of Thrones and Deadpool? Well, obviously he's become persona non grata in Hollywood. I mean, that's the thing. All the secondary characters that we barely see, of course, are violently killed by dinosaurs, while not one of the main characters is ever sacrificed, leading to a film with absolutely no stakes. I mean, at one point we get generic sidekick guy trying to sacrifice himself, only to somehow survive in the most corny and uninspired manner. I mean, for goodness sake, let one main character at least sacrifice themselves, so that there's some stakes. And then that's it. They leave. Roll credits. That's it. No payoff. No point. Just a vague feeling your IQ has dropped a few points. The movie tosses in random plot threads, ancient ruins, crashed choppers, tragic backstories, and then just forgets about them. It feels like the writers brainstormed for 10 minutes, picked up the first half-baked idea, and then called it a day. Now fans will defend it and say, it's a dumb Jurassic Park movie, it's not supposed to be smart. But that defense does not stand up here. Dumb could still be fun, but this isn't even coherent. The story relies on absurd coincidences, like our two main groups magically meeting up for the finale, or the fact that the entire plot is kicked off by a Snickers wrapper getting sucked into an event. Yes, I wish I was joking, but that's the premise. Motivations are all over the place. The script can't decide who the main character is. The man of science is supposed to be logical and relatable, but ScarJo here gets the lead role, except the movie doesn't know what to do with her. Is she a cold mercenary, a quippy hero, a tortured soldier? The answer is all of the above, and none of them work. ScarJo really is turning out a performance here, hoping for a big paycheck. Mahershala Ali is completely wasted here as the generic sidekick guy, basically a duplicate of ScarJo with the same backstory, which just eats up screen time, which is completely pointless. It's not hard to make a fun Jurassic World movie, but Rebirth is the definition of corporate filmmaking at its worst. Too much money, too many resources, and zero clue how to use them. It's a movie that should have been scrapped long before it even made theaters. This movie is exactly what's wrong with Hollywood today. Too much reliant on original properties that were creative and well done, and Hollywood just cashing in on a big-name actor and an unoriginal concept. If you value your time, your wallet, or your sanity, skip this mess and just rewatch the original. You'll thank me later. Jurassic World Rebirth gets a 4 out of 10. Thanks for watching, and remember, life always finds a way. Unfortunately though, bad scripts also do.